going to say it. I'm going to say it. So prepare yourself. But I liked The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Alright, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is directed by Mark Webb and stars Andrew Garfield, Emma Stone, Jamie Foxx, and a whole bunch of other people. Like I said, I really liked this film. I had a lot more fun with it than I thought I was going to. I didn't have a whole lot of expectations because I didn't really care for a lot of the news surrounding this film coming into it. But that being said, the action sequences are amazing. I love the way that Webb shoots this. The CGI is incredible. There's a lot of great makeup work here with Mr. Osborn, and the aesthetic with Electro I thought was just done extremely well. And the fight scenes are just a ton of fun. I thought they were just done extremely well. There's a lot of slow motion, a lot of the time where things just kind of stop and we see kind of what Spider-Man is looking at and what he's analyzing in certain sequences, and I thought that was done extremely well. They focused a lot on the Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy relationship and where that kind of goes after leaving off and at the end of the first one. And it is a big part here. A lot of critics in their reviews have kind of said this is a lot like a romantic comedy or a romantic love story with Spider-Man kind of in the middle of it. And on a lot of levels that's true, but the focus of that is so intentional because the way that this film crystallizes, that is a big thing. And I loved the way that that was done. I thought the ending of this film, especially with that storyline, was executed perfectly. I couldn't have enjoyed it anymore. I thought it was emotional, it was powerful, it was exactly what it needed to be with that. Now, the script itself is very messy. It has a lot of different elements that they throw in here, which they didn't have to, but of course Sony is planting seeds for other things. So we see the Rhino character that is introduced, we see Harry Osborn turn into the Green Goblin, which again, those villains aren't necessarily the main villain of this film, but they are kind of planting those thoughts and those seeds as we know that spin-off movies and other things are coming. And I didn't necessarily need all that. I think when the script is focused, there's some really great work going on here, and not only with the action stuff and with Gwen Stacy, but with Peter Parker, we see him wanting to find resolution, what happened with his parents. We also see him kind of dealing with breaking that promise that he made to Gwen Stacy's dad at the end of the first film, and kind of what that means and what that's looking like for him. I also think there's some really great scenes that he has with Aunt May, which to me, the Aunt May in this is very different than the ones in the Sam Raimi films, and I like that. I love how Peter Parker and Aunt May kind of interact here. In fact, there's one scene in the middle of the film that to me was just so emotional, it was very raw, and to me it was some of the best acting of the entire film, and probably out of the entire series so far, was just this scene here, and I thought it was very, very strong and done very well. And so overall, I think if you're able to grasp onto those things, you're going to have a really good time. I think Hans Zimmer's score is also a great element here as well. There's very few tracks that almost feel Hans Zimmer. Of course, here he's collaborating with Pharrell Williams in the Magnificent Six, so there's a lot of dubstep and kind of hip-hop kind of sounds throughout a lot of it. Electro's theme is amazing. I thought that was done extremely well. It was very inventive and very creative, and so it's kind of nice to see Hans Zimmer kind of step outside his box and do something a little bit more outside of his wheelhouse. I thought it was done extremely well. I don't think Zimmer's theme here is his best work, but it's way better, in my opinion, than the score for the first Amazing Spider-Man. So overall, I think this is a really good film. It's really fun. I loved the action, as I talked about. I thought the CGI was done extremely well. The love story with Gwen Stacy was handled well. It crystallized well, and will kind of change things kind of going forward. And I liked that about it. I kind of wish that we just kind of got more with Electro's character and it was just focused on him, because him as the main villain was great. I really liked what they did with that character. I just wish that we could have expanded on that more and got rid of all these other side villains, to strip away and kind of condense all of that stuff kind of surrounding him, and I think we would have had a really, really good Spider-Man film. But that being said, because that is there, I give this film probably about a B or B plus in that range somewhere. I'll have more thoughts on this weekend on our podcast, where we'll discuss this a little bit more in depth, and we'll also talk about our top 3 comic book movie villains, which should be a lot of fun. So be sure to be on the lookout for that. You can also go to our website at InSessionFilm.com. We have a written review there from one of our writers, James Shaw, that you want to check out. He really loved this film as well. But hit us up on Facebook, facebook.com/InSessionFilm, or you can tweet us at InSessionFilm. Let us know your thoughts. You can also leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I know it's getting some mixed reactions, so maybe you agree with me, maybe you don't. I'd love to hear from you. So hit us up. Be sure to look for our podcast this weekend, and we'll see you guys next time.